Hey, welcome to Half the Battle and Happy New Year, everybody!
We're starting the year strong with a new tier list, all 1990 G.I. Joe figures ranked. There's 35 to get through, and as usual, we'll be going alphabetically with the Joes and Cobras on their own lists. And we're starting with Airborne, though this isn't Airborne. Well, not the more famous one anyway.
Okay, let me explain.
This guy is part of the Sky Patrol sub-team introduced in 1990. For some reason, they reused the Airborne codename, but gave it to a completely different character. And that's not the only thing that's reused, as the entire body, except for the head, is from Lift Ticket. Yeah, all Sky Patrol figures used older body molds.
Yeah, Hasbro's cheap, blah blah blah. Even I'm getting tired of hearing myself say it.
Anyway, with this figure, you can actually barely tell it's Lift Ticket's body. The color scheme makes it pretty damn unique and cool looking. Add to that some good accessories and a working silver parachute. Yeah, all Sky Patrol figures had those too. I find there's no other place for him than the good tier.
We're staying with Sky Patrol.
Because next is Airwave, where the body reuse is far more noticeable as it's clearly from the Motor Viper. And it doesn't really work for me as an air guy. Also, the colors are pretty bland, so I'll put him in that tier. Though those parachutes are very fun for kids, so you know what? I'll give those an honorary place in the good tier and judge the figures on their own.
And we're still sticking with Sky Patrol because 3 of them start their names with the letter A.
This one's Altitude, not to be mistaken for Major Altitude, who's a different character.
Man, Sky Patrol's confusing.
This one uses Slipstream's body, and those are some ugly colors. I've said this before, but this figure looks like a Christmas ornament. Yeah, ugly side of the bad or ugly tier. Okay, we're finally leaving this sub-team for a bit, as next is Ambush and his glorious mustache. Honestly, if this was just a list of facial hair, that thing would go into the best tier. As it stands, he's got a unique look and color scheme, plus those unique tent and body fabric accessories, so he goes into the good tier. Bullhorn is a pretty cool figure on its own, but when you add the accessories that include a bullhorn, and a briefcase with a disassembled rifle, you get something really special. Special enough to go into that best tier.
Now for this next one, oh boy.
Captain Gridiron, or what if the very concept of football became a Joe? The accessories don't help. Yeah, quite ridiculous, so an easy pick for the weird tier.
And now we briefly return to Winter is Coming.
With Cold Front. I haven't changed my mind since doing the cold weather figure list, so he stays in the good tier, with those damn impossible to find accessories still going into the worst one. Next, I don't think the Sonic Fighters are an actual sub-team.
But they certainly were a thing.
Sonic Fighter Dial Tone is this character's third appearance in these lists. And this one is difficult. You see, the figure itself is perfectly fine. I like the colors on him. He could almost pass for Night Force. But I have to take into account the stupid, huge, spine-breaking backpack that accommodates the whole real sound gimmick.
I mean, holy hernia, Batman!
Of course, this affects all Sonic Fighters, so I'm making an executive decision and I'm separating the backpacks from the figures and putting them in the bad tier, which means Dial Tone himself goes into the good tier. Now, you would think this would be good news for our second Sonic Fighter, Dodger, but that is one bad color scheme. He also reminds me of a Christmas ornament, so he can join his brother in Yuletide spirit in the ugly side of the bad or ugly tier.
And we're back to Sky Patrol again.
With Drop Zone, who uses the Strato Viper body. Hey, do you think that would lead to an awkward conversation if they met on the battlefield? These colors do make him look a bit like a World War I or II pilot, and I can dig that, so he goes into the good tier. Next, in this year of Sky Patrol, why does Freefall even exist? Did they really need another parachute guy, especially since this figure did not come with a working one? Also, why not make the toy a new version of Ripcord? It's an okay figure, but pretty bland, especially when you put it next to Sky Patrol, so bland tier it is. Back to Sonic Fighters with Law Version 2. It's a good figure. I really like this new color scheme.
I have just one small problem.
Where the hell is Order? What happened to the doggo? I'm tempted to rate the toy significantly lower for the lack of dog. But I guess I have to judge the figure on its own, so I guess I'll allow it to enter the good tier. Next is Major Storm. Not sure why they included this rank as part of his codename, but whatever. He was the driver of the general vehicle. This figure doesn't do much for me, but I can't really call it bland. It's fine. Yeah, okay, I'll put it in the good tier, but without much enthusiasm. Pathfinder.
Pathfinder was a difficult one.
He looks like a very aggressive gardener. I don't really like the colors on him, but that whole contraption that are his accessories are enough to put him in the weird tier. Rampart is a figure that I consider to be a bit of a hidden gem. He's unique, but still looks like he could fit in with any year of G.I.Joe releases. I really like him, but he's just shy of best tier material for me, so I'll put him high in the good tier. Salvo has like all the accessories. It's seriously over the top. I think he's as prone to back injuries as the Sonic Fighters. What kind of ruins this figure for me is that gold crap all over his legs.
What even is that?
Yeah, I can't really get over that, so he goes into the ugly tier. We're back with Sky Patrol and Skydive, and the name is really on the nose, isn't it? This is another one where it wasn't immediately obvious whose body was being reused.
At least not to me.
It's from the Gyro Viper. I really dig the look, so it's an easy good tier for me. And we're finally wrapping up Sky Patrol with Static Line. Here the body reuse is obvious as it's from Backstop. And man, this look!
It sure is something.
He looks like he walked straight out of a sci-fi movie. It sure is bold but also weird. Plus, I have no idea how they came up with that gun design, but I'm betting drugs were involved. Yeah, weird tier it is.
Speaking of accessories, 1990 sure was a big year for those.
I mean, look at Stretcher and his, thing? Okay, so it's a sled. Oh, that's why I've had people argue we should have been in the Arctic figure ranking.
I'm sorry, okay?
I thought it was like a hover platform thing or something, you know? It could fly. At any rate, this figure is fine. Easy pick for the good tier. I haven't changed my mind on Sub-Zero, so he gets the same spot as on the Arctic list in the good tier. Topside is nice, but he's almost in danger of getting into the bland tier because he does have that generic sailor thing going on. Still, there's just something about him that makes him stand out, so he goes into the good tier.
And for our last Sonic Fighter,
we have Tunnel Rat, and I gotta say, compared to the previous versions of him, he's like the definition of okay but bland, so into that tier he goes. That brings us to the last Joe on the list, Updraft.
Because what 1990 really needed was yet another air-themed character.
The figure is unique in two ways. He's got all original body parts, and this was the only version ever released. Something of a rarity. As for the look, I'm not a big fan of the pants, but it doesn't ruin the figure. And it's certainly not bland, so I have no choice but to put it into the good tier. And there we are. All 1990 Joes ranked.
Of course, that's just half the battle, because we've still got all the bad guys to go through. So let's soldier on! Or Viper on, whatever.
We begin with Decimator, and overall it's very cool. Provided you have his helmet and never ever take the thing off his head, because that yellow stands out like a sore thumb. It's what keeps him out of the best tier, but not the good one.
And if you hoped we were done with Sonic Fighters, well, sucks to be you.
Because here's Lamprey's version 2. Now that color scheme certainly was a choice. It's not bad, but looking like that, why still have him be naval? With those colors, he looks like either a firefighter or a flamethrower guy. Yeah, just for the strange choice of colors, I'm putting him in the weird tier. Next is the Laser Viper, and again, a figure that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. I quite like the aesthetic, though it wouldn't make my top 10 Vipers list. Still, it gets a spot in the good tier. And now, Metalhead.
Ugh.
I never liked the character or the look. And that set of accessories, I mean, really? There's over the top, and then there's this, more over the top. The whole figure is more bad than weird, so into the bad tier he goes. Now we get to the Night Creeper. A fun concept and quite a nice atypical ninja look. Still, it's a bit short of getting into the best tier, but quite worthy of the good one. Overlord. What is this dollar store Cobra Commander even doing in the G.I.Joe line? The gold is gaudy, the orange chest is ugly, and makes him look like he's missing a breastplate or armor or something.
And like I said, what's even the point of him?
Yeah, worst tier, no contest. Next is the Range Viper. Definitely a figure in danger of ending up in the weird tier, but it's just a little bit too cool and intimidating for that, so it goes into the good tier. The Rock Viper is very cool.
Just one question.
Why the mustache? I mean, for Joe's it makes sense to make the figures more distinct, but this is an army builder, so I guess we're just gonna have to assume Cobra Commander decreed all Rock Vipers must grow a mustache.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
Anyway, the cool look and the great set of accessories means this guy goes into the best tier. It sure is the year of the Vipers, isn't it? As next is the Saw Viper, another sci-fi looking guy, which also seems to be a theme in 1990. It's not bad, but I don't think it's great either, and that machine gun is another backbreaker. Still, he fits in with the others in the good tier. Next is Undertow, the only Iron Grenadier on the list. And those are not your typical Iron Grenadier colors. They're far uglier. Also, he comes with a fish. Yeah, okay, it's a barracuda.
But still, a freaking fish.
Yeah, this freaky fish guy goes into the bad tier. Our penultimate figure is the Cobra Hurricane Pilot, Vapor. The body is fine, except that it looks like he's got his underpants on over his trousers. But that helmet! He looks like a robot dog. The rest of the body saves it from the bad tier, but come on. King of the weird one.
And finally,
as it has been the year of the Vipers, Laser, Rock, Saw, and Range, how fitting it is that we end with the Viper, Sonic version. And I'm really conflicted about this one. I like it, I think it makes a good Viper Sergeant or something, but those colors, that gold, it looks so strange, especially compared to the original. So, good, weird, or ugly?
I'd flip a coin, but that only has two sides.
Okay, objectively, it's ugly. But this is my list, and I said I liked it, so it goes into the good tier.
And this time I mean it, you really can berate me in the comments below.
And that was the list. All 35 G.I. Joe figures from 1990 ranked. 1991 only has a few more figures, but we'll get to that list when we get to it. For now, the 400th episode is upon us, but what to review? Well, it would either have to be a very good or very bad toy.
I suppose I could pick a really bad one that could have been a really good one. Till next time, and hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?